During recent years, there has been an intense debate in the EU about how to shape youth policy. All over Europe, young people are facing the consequences of the financial crisis and changing living conditions. Especially due to increased youth unemployment, the extension of the life phase of youth, and demographic change, people have become more aware of the need for placing the growing up of young people more into the focus of policymaking. These challenges need a youth policy that creates the best possible and most suitable conditions for adolescence. Such a youth policy aims at all young people. It intends to create equal opportunities for participation and development of the potential of all individuals. On this background, Germany has begun to develop an independent youth policy. An impetus in this regards provided the cooperation framework for youth policy in Europe. This cooperation framework aims at intensifying mutual cross-border learning processes. Germany used this as an opportunity to initiate a transnational learning process that aimed at finding out how other EU member states shape their youth policy. Partners from 7 countries have exchanged national strategies and approaches to youth policy, experience and expertise regarding the shaping of youth policy, and developed common proposals and recommendations for a successful youth policy. Since June 2012, there have been a total of 3 peer learning seminars and 1 evaluation seminar, with representatives from all involved countries.
Maybe you can just...
These countries are Germany, France, the Netherlands, the Czech Republic, the Flemish-speaking community in Belgium, Lithuania and Sweden. What are currently the greatest challenges regarding youth policy in the individual member states?
In my country is youth unemployment, and then especially the needs group. This means the group that neither are in education, employment or training.
I think clearly the biggest challenges are the demographic change we have in Germany, meaning that we have more and more senior citizens and less young people. This means that we need to focus on the life situations of young persons.
And for our own agency, who's mainly focusing on youth work, I think the big discussion now is the borders of youth work and the role youth work can play into this whole big issue of inclusion and battle against child poverty without instrumentalizing the youth work.
One is we need political will and support and resources.
All countries shared the interest in studying the following subjects: the role of the regions and municipalities in youth policy, acknowledgement and appreciation of the target group youth, youth policy is departmental or cross-sectoral policy.
And we agree too that youth policy needs a common fundamental philosophy or vision and sustainable political strategies.
How can regions and municipalities be stimulated to take responsibility in shaping youth policy, and how can they be supported in doing so? How can cooperation between the local, regional, national and European level be improved?
The role of the region and the municipalities was one of the most interesting topics for us during this exercise of peer learning. In France, the country is quite centralized, and we have been decentralizing for a few years, so we are still looking for good ways of cooperation between national and regional and local authorities.
We are very much focusing on trying to facilitate local administration and local institutions to find solutions for these problems at a local level. In our experience, it doesn't work if you come up with a master plan at a national level, trying to solve a specific problem for a specific young boy or young girl in a specific community. You should tackle these problems, we think, at a local level, and the job of national level and of European level is to make that more easy.
What image have young people in the society? Are young people considered to be an important part of society, or rather a difficult marginal group? How can we create a climate of acknowledgement and respect for the achievements and efforts of young people?
Positive youth policy is a basic principle for every new youth policy within Europe, so it is very important to discuss this view with other European countries and to learn from their experiences and their views.
We'd like to focus on the positive youth policies and looking at young people as a resource and not as a problem. If you only focus on the problem side, you don't make use of their potential.
If you don't have a positive approach, you have this fire brigade approach. I mean, then something happens and there is a lot of media and a lot of political alert to it, and it costs a lot of money. I mean, the riots you have seen in some European countries, also in Sweden, where young people have been burning cars and everything. We can't have it like that. We need to have a positive approach to invite young people and work with promotion of human rights and inclusion and everything in order to prevent problems also, and to make the youth period a good period in itself.
Learning mobility, I think it was mentioned yesterday already, it's a relatively new term.
Should youth policy focus on its core tasks, or should it go beyond the limits of its sector? How can a policy that represents young people and is shaped for and with them ensure that decisions made in relevant fields are qualified? How can youth policy win the necessary respect of other policies?
I think cross-sectoral youth policy is a very important governance instrument because all the stakeholders that have an influence on the situation of young persons should be on board of a new youth policy. That means on the one side the municipalities and regions, and on the other side the other ministries and also the other society sectors like the economy, the media and so on.
Cross-sectoral is like this, it's horizontal. It goes through every policy area. I mean, but if you have if you work like this, you only work with one question. But the youth policy is you work on horizontal level through all these relevant policy areas. That's cross-sectoral.
Didn't say anything in common on which administrative level, national, regional, regarding their interests and needs.
One of the essential reasons for the creation of the project was the aspect of mutual learning, also called peer learning. The project intended to contribute to implementing the EU Youth Strategy with the clearly defined aim that the member states should be able to qualify and further develop their own youth policy through a process of mutual cross-border learning.
The young people had the possibility to...
Peer learning is one of the core measures of the European cooperation in the youth field. And I think we proved that it is truly a core element, that it's worthwhile to cooperate and to exchange, even if there are national differences, of course.
Well, the peer learning process on youth policy was by invitation of the German state. So I am very happy that it took place, and I think it was kind of a European think tank. It was very valuable to discuss the strategies and the experiences with the other European countries.
So this exercise was one of the first of its kind, because it was done with a limited number of countries, where in other settings we can be 27 or even 50 countries in the Council of Europe. So we were very much interested in this kind of setting to experiment a new way of learning.
Concerning the peer learning, the project as a whole, I would say that this was a real peer learning project. What I mean is that we developed really a very good team spirit, and I would say also we had the right people here for peer learning.
The project was an important step forward on the way to developing a common European understanding of peer learning and a contribution to deepening the transnational, sustainable collaboration in the field of youth policy. The results will be made available for the European debate about the shaping of youth policy. They can thus be used for showing which actions are possible in individual fields. The Federal Ministry for Family Affairs, Senior Citizens, Women and Youth wishes to play an active role in European cooperation in youth work and plans to implement other multilateral cooperation projects also in the future.
It's absolutely necessary to continue the peer learning on new topics we have discovered during the seminars, and one of them might be youth policy as a future-oriented policy, or another one to incorporate intergenerational dialogue into youth strategy.
So what to do to ensure the follow-up of this peer learning? In this process we got common questions and common issues for all of countries who have participated. So for the next time or for the next period, we have to think not what is common, but now what is common to deal, how to solve it, and take the measures on every issues what is tackled with answering how.
How do I evaluate the process? I can agree with my Lithuanian colleague that Germany took a big step now, and they set the way, but I think it's now to other European countries to take their responsibilities and follow that way, and I think there are definitely things to learn, but I just think that we should take the next step and other countries should get involved in or take active part in the process.
Perhaps other member states are willing to initiate European peer learning processes as well.